Good day, this is Dika from Dika's Adventures. Welcome back to my channel. This is going to be at least a two-part series. I'm thinking it might be 3 or 4, but we'll see as we go. There's a lot of material to cover, and we'll just see how it goes. So I'm going to start off with some very basics. It's entitled just Basics for Fishing for a Beginner. What you need to know just to get started. And this might be a little more detailed than you need, but I think the information is good and it's helpful. So before I get started, if you would like, subscribe to my channel, and ring that bell that will alert you of any new videos that I got coming out. And if you already subscribed, thank you so much. I greatly appreciate it. It's amazing how much support I've already gotten. So I'm going to start off with the basics and I'm going to go through a walkthrough of a spinning reel. I'm just going to name the parts of it, and I think it's important for people to know the parts of the equipment they're using. That way, if they do have a problem with it, you can say it by name, or you can go into your local bait shop or tackle shop, and they'll be able to help you out, as opposed to saying that thingy or that wire thingy or this piece or whatever. If you know the name of it, then you can go in, and most of those places are surely able to help you out, especially if you're having a problem with something. So I'm just going to go through. So there's many different types of reels. There's spinning reels, there's bait casting reels, there's closed-faced casting reels. I think for a beginner, you should just go to Walmart and buy a combo for $50, $60 and go from there. I don't think you should go. There's so many specifics in fishing, and you can really get confused by a lot of it. So I'm just going to go through. This is a small spinning reel. You can see my hand here. Very small spinning reel. This one's made by a company called Shakespeare, which is very popular. It's relatively good quality, but it's definitely on the lower end. You can buy them at Walmart. You can buy them at Dick's Sporting Goods and other sporting goods around the way. This one is also made by Shakespeare. It's a little beefier. Just has a bigger spool on it. All right, and I have a rod here that I'm going to go over. This is a very small rod, and I'm going to go over all the pieces of it also. All right, so this is the reel. You have a handle. This is your handle. And this is your grip. And that's going to move the spool. It's going to move this rotating piece here, which I consider part of the spool or the guide. So this piece right here is called a bail. And what that does is that keeps the line moving around your spool. This piece on top is the spool. You can untwist this, which is called the drag, and you can take that off completely if you choose to. So you have your handle. This is on the left side here, and what you can do, if you wanted to, if you feel more comfortable reeling on the other side, there's a small nut here. You can unscrew that. Whoopsie. And this piece will come out, and then you can just reverse engineer it, so to speak. Take this piece, put it on the other side, and screw the handle in on the other side. So you have your bail. This wire piece right here is called the bail. Now your line's going to go around here, and you're going to thread your line up through your rod, and then you're going to click the bail down. The bail is going to hold the line into the spool, so it doesn't just fall out. Now when the line catches this, it goes into this section right here, which is called the guide. And that guides the line into the spool. So the spool itself doesn't spin. This mechanism spins around and allows you to reel in line on your rod. So if you notice, the spool is going to rotate. It is going to go up and down while this rotating guide sort of separates or moves the line evenly on the spool, so it's not bulked up on one side. All right, so we have the handle, we have the bail, and the bail opens and closes. As you get further into my videos and as you learn, you'll realize why that opens and closes. Like I said, it holds the line in, and the line will move to the guide, and the guide will spin the line evenly around the spool, because the spool goes up and down, so it's not bulked on one side. All right, and this knob up top here is called the drag. and you can tighten it counterclockwise. Clockwise is tightening, and counterclockwise is loosening. And this one happens to click. Not all of them click. But what the drag is, you can think of it, it's kind of like brake pads on a car. It will decide how tight the spool is locked to the gears. So how much force, a lot of this has, I think this has an 8-pound drag on it. So it takes, when it's tightened down all the way, it will take 8 pounds of pressure to pull the line out. So that's the drag, and you can tighten it and you can loosen it. All right. Then on the back here, you have, this is called, see right here, a lot of them have it. This one has it too. They're just in different sections. This one's on the bottom right here. It's called an anti-reverse switch. And what it does is, so you're reeling, but you can't reel it backwards. And you're allowing the drag to dictate how you'll fight that fish. Hopefully this makes sense. It will make more sense as I go on. It allows to put the brakes on, so to speak. So if you flick that, you can reel both ways. I don't know anybody who uses it that way. I do know, and I'll probably get crucified for this, but a lot of old timers, they used to fish that way, and they would use the handle to fight the fish as opposed to the drag. So that just, if you click it backwards, it eliminates the drag. So you won't use the drag at all. But if you click it forward, click it the other way, you can't move it backwards, and then your drag comes into play. All right. So this is the body right here, and all your gears are inside here. This is called the foot. That part of the reel right there is called the foot, and it gets seated in your rod. So you'll have a rod. This is a spinning rod, and the reason you can tell it's a spinning rod is because it's flat. A bait casting rod will have a little trigger coming up. All right, so if you can see right here, this is the seat. This is called the seat. This is the handle. This one's foam, some are cork, some are a split handle. And then as you move up, these pieces right here, they're called guides. That's where your line is going to go. And they get smaller as you move up the rod. Now this is a very small rod. This is what's called an ultralight rod. And these get smaller and smaller as you go up. The top one has a different name. It's just called the tip. Some people call it the tip top. But the the largest guide will be at the bottom. This rod is only 4 feet long. Freshwater rods come upwards of, I think, 8 or 9 feet long. So to do this, you would take. There's also a screwing mechanism right here, and that's going to move up and down. If you can see in the seat of the rod here, there's going to be a little notch. So you're going to take your reel and you're going to put it right in that little notch. Take the foot of the reel, put that little notch, and then you tighten this piece, and it's going to work its way over the top of the foot of the reel. And you tighten it. It doesn't have to be crazy tight, but just tight enough that you can't do it more by hand. And then there you are. You have a combo. So you have your spinning reel here. I'm trying not to hit my lights there. And you can reel this. You have your bail. You have the guide on your bail right here. You have your drag. You have your spool. You have the body and the casing. That's where all your gears are in there. I recommend never opening that. You'll never get it back together. You have your anti-reverse switch on the back, and you have your handle and your grip. Most of them are universal. This rod is considered an ultralight rod. So on every rod, and I'll take this off. Like so. That comes off. You could take this one and put it on there if you wanted to. They're pretty universal. That will go right in there. And you would just tighten this on. Every rod looks a little different, but the components are relatively the same. You're always going to have this screw-in piece. You're always going to have that seat. They're always going to have a foot to go in. And some of this might be designed a little differently, but it's all the same. And so on. You can reel it like this. Same thing. You have the bail. You have your drag. This one has some line on it. Oh, I forgot to mention there's a little notch right here. It's called a line keeper. So when your reel is not sort of ready to go, you can take the line and you can put it right in that little line keeper, and it'll keep it safe so the spool doesn't come undone. All right. So that comes off easy like this. Comes off. Now on every rod, you're going to see it's going to give you some specifications right here. This one says it's 4 feet long and the action is ultralight, which means it's a very small, very pliable, bendy rod. My suggestion is to start off fishing, go get yourself an ultralight or even a medium rod. It doesn't have to be as long as you want. Make it budget friendly. You don't have to spend a lot of money. Ideally, you want to get out on the water and you want to have success. And that's my job, to teach you how to have success. If you don't have success out there, you're going to get frustrated and you're going to quit. The idea is to get the basics, go out, catch some fish, and have fun. And all the other stuff falls in line later. What I'm doing here is at the beginner level. This is so you go out and you catch some sunfish and some bluegill. You're probably going to use worms or small jigs as bait, and you're going to go out and you're going to have a lot of fun. So that's my first part of, I think it's going to be a 3 or 4 part series. The next series, I'm going to be out on the water. I'm going to take this, I'm going to show you how to spool it up, and ultimately I'm going to show you how to bait it, how to put maybe a bobber on, and how to catch some fish. See what happens when you catch fish, and how to catch the fish. All right? So till next time, if you'd like, subscribe and ring that bell. I will see you later with part 2. All right? Thank you very much.